Hi, welcome to another edition of Health Tips with me, Patricia Roxon Hammond. As usual, my guest is Dr. Promise Sepoga. He's the consultant obstetrician gynecologist with Shape Healthcare at Latibiokoshi. He's also a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School. Today we're talking preserving fertility. Hi.
Hello.
Thank
Patricia.
you once again
My
for
pleasure.
being available for us
That's
every
right.
time we call on you.
It's a pleasure.
How do I preserve my fertility?
Yes, so, as women are increasingly pursuing career, pursuing education, pursuing high professional ambitions, which is a good thing, some tend to forget or put their reproductive function on hold. But the interesting thing is that as a woman, your fertility function is time bound. Okay? So if you realize that you have a lot of things to achieve, and you may not be able to finish them by the time you are ready to finish them and settle to have babies, you may be advanced in age, then the news is for you. That you have the tendency now, the ability to freeze some of your eggs so that when later on you're ready, you have younger eggs which are much healthier for healthier pregnancy and healthier babies.
Okay.
The reason is because
At what age is that done?
so it's best, the earlier the better. Okay? Because when you're born as a woman, the girl child is born with about 2 million eggs. She arrives in the world with 2 million eggs, thereabout. By the time she gets to puberty, to start having her regular menstrual flow, she's got about 500,000 left. Okay? And of that 500,000, every month she loses about 10 to 20. Because a cohort of about 10 to 20 begins to develop. Out of that, one becomes the matured one that will release. The rest will die off. Next month, another cohort begins like that. So by the time you're 35, you would have lost a great deal of your eggs. And then whatever is left may not have the greatest of qualities.
Okay.
So if you delayed till in your 40s, before you say, hey, I finished my MBA, I finished my D's, I finished my dad, I want to now settle, we may have very few or too few of your eggs left. That may also have very diminished quality. Okay, so the earlier we froze these eggs, then you can go ahead and fly high in your career. When you are ready to have baby or to start your family, you have the tendency to have your biological family with your own frozen eggs.
Okay.
The other reason we do this is for women who have to undergo some kind of treatment. For example, cancer chemotherapy. So women who have been diagnosed of breast cancer and they are going to go through chemotherapy. Now, chemotherapy is the use of very strong medications that are targeting the cancer cells. Because the cancer cells, they multiply very fast.
Okay.
But these chemotherapy medications cannot selectively destroy only the cancer cells. They end up destroying all the cells that rapidly develop, including the eggs.
Oh, okay.
That's how come when somebody's on chemo, the hair, they lose the hair.
Yeah.
Because the hair cells are developing fast, which is why you shave your hair, like I shave mine, in a few days it grows.
Yeah.
The cells are developing. So when you take chemo, it stops that. So all the hair drops, the nails, and you have this diarrhea and vomiting stuff. Okay? And so before the woman begins the chemotherapy, we quickly put her on some medication injections, develop plenty eggs, harvest them, and freeze. Then she can go ahead, take cancer treatment, chemotherapy, or radiation, where we put them in a machine with a very strong radiation to kill the cancer cells. And those radiations can destroy the eggs, especially if the radiation is in the lower abdominal region. So before the woman undergoes those very treatment for these types of conditions, or even some types of autoimmune disorders, we advise that we take out the egg and freeze them. When you're done with the treatment, you're good, you're back into good health, and you're ready to have babies. You have your own eggs that have been frozen and are good to go.
Okay.
In the case of men, we do the same.
Okay.
The men, not necessarily because the man thinks I'm growing, I want to freeze my eggs, but more commonly if they're going to undergo some cancer, chemotherapy, or radiation. And in that case, it's much simpler. We make just the initial assessment to check a few lab background stuff, and then we collect the sperm, process, and then we freeze.
How long can you freeze? Does it
So,
like forever or just a number of years?
For now, the technology has not found a limit yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had some frozen 5, 10 years, and it's still ongoing. And there's no evidence of any damage to the gamete, the egg, or the sperms when we freeze them. So we are good.
So in a case where the person is deceased, is it possible to give out the egg to another person?
So there are legal things and ethical things we sign before that.
Okay.
So the person would instruct what should be done in the event of that.
Okay. So you freeze them, is it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? So what do you do with the eggs? When the couple or the woman is ready to now conceive?
So sometimes we freeze the eggs. Sometimes when we harvest the eggs, we fertilize them into embryos and then we freeze. And like I said, sometimes we also freeze the sperm. Other times it's possible to take a bit of the ovary itself and then we freeze. So that when the woman is ready, we just plant the ovary back there and it develops its own eggs.
That's another
form of
surgery.
Minor surgery.
Minor surgery, okay.
So then, assuming it's the eggs that were frozen, when the woman is ready to conceive, we thaw the eggs. The eggs are labeled and coded and properly stored in a very professional freezing environment. So we're able to tell that this egg is for this person, these eggs for this person. So we would thaw and then fertilize them in the same way we do the IVF. Then that gives us the embryo. Allow the embryo to develop for a few days whilst we put the woman on medication to prepare the inside lining of the womb in order to receive the embryo. Embryos are developed, ready. We take 2 or 3 and put inside the womb there. That implants, and then she gets pregnant, and the rest goes on as a normal antenatal pregnancy. Okay.
How many eggs can you freeze at a time? Do you take a lot of them, or just you select?
No, so when we give the injections, the woman develops multiple eggs at the same time in the 2 ovaries. And we aim to remove all of it as possible. And so we freeze everything that is matured. When we take them out, we examine them. The matured, perfect ones are frozen. Those that are immature, they are no good. So we freeze all of the matured ones. If we need to fertilize, we fertilize and freeze then the numbers that would mature, that would develop well till the 5th day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to wait for it to develop before you put it back in the womb? Like
yes.
The partner's sperm
exactly.
to fertilize it before
we put it back. And we may do that at the time we take out the eggs. We can fertilize them to become embryos and then freeze these embryos or freeze the eggs because the woman did not have a partner at the time. 5, 7, 8 years later, she's done, ready. Unfortunately, Mr. Right has also come. Then we take the sperm from Mr. Right, fertilize these eggs now, develop the embryo, and put it back inside the uterus.
Can the same injection be given to somebody who is over 40 or hitting 40 to produce more eggs for it to be?
So, in doing in vitro fertilization, yes, that's what we do. But we know that above 40, even though some people may have some eggs, the quality is always an issue.
So the injection wouldn't help in producing more?
No, the injection would help us to develop more than one, but does not improve the quality.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The injection would help us develop more than one out of what you've got left. And if what you've got left is already so few, there will be much fewer normal ones in that cohort of eggs you've got left. Which is why you don't have to wait till you cross 40.
Can I say childbirth after 40 is a miracle?
It is a miracle to the extent that the odds are so much against you because the eggs may not be of good quality. So majority of women would have difficulty conceiving after 40. There's a high tendency that the pregnancy would result in a baby that has not formed well because the eggs are grown. Pregnancy after 40 generally tends to be associated with some medical problems. High blood pressure, diabetes, preeclampsia, all tend to be higher in the advanced maternal age group. So when we do that and the woman gets pregnant at that age, we know of these risks, so we just monitor them and then take care of them. Once they develop that, we deal with it.
There are cases of women conceiving at the age of 50, 60. That's 1 in a million, I guess.
Like Sarah in the Bible. So yeah, those are not ordinary things. Some of them have had to undergo some form of assisted conception.
Okay. So, in preserving our fertility, are there certain supplements or certain foods or certain things we're supposed to do apart from being assisted by the health professional?
Yes, healthy lifestyles in general saves you a lot of troubles, including things that would affect your general health as well as the health of your eggs. Alcohol, smoking, a lot of processed foods, a lot of animal products, all these in excess are not advisable to anybody. So general healthy lifestyle, lots of fruits and vegetables, drink enough water, avoid alcohol, avoid tobacco, avoid exposure to radiations. And these are the things that would keep you healthy, including your eggs. Because the healthy woman would have a healthy pregnancy, healthy baby.
Okay. But even with that, the age is still there.
The age is still an important factor in the equation. And so, if for some reason you think the way you are going, you're not likely to be settled to start family any soon, consider freezing your eggs so you have the good chance of having biological babies in the future when you're ready.
Interesting. It's good to preserve your fertility if you are not ready. It has been Health Tips with me, Patricia Roxanne Hammond, and my guest has been Dr. Promise Sapoga. He's a consultant obstetrician gynecologist with Shape Healthcare at Latibia Okoshi. He's also a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Medical School. As I said, and I'll always say, if you need help or you find anything wrong with the biological or reproductive system, please, you can always locate Shape Healthcare on your Google map. Everybody has a smartphone. Just type Shape Healthcare. It will bring you straight to Latibia Okoshi to see Dr. Promise Sapoga and his team. They're always available to assist you. Until same time next week, stay blessed.